All right, class. First off, as always, good day. I'm glad you're here. Today, we are going to be going over one of the most iconic experiments ever done in psychology, and basically how it kind of ties in with advertisements and things like that. Then we're going to get into the algorithms. This is one of the things a lot of you guys have been asking me about, like how does this phone, how does this app or this Google, site know what I was just thinking about this ad. Is the microphones turned on? Is the government listening to us? This is something I've heard a lot of students over the past year and even this school year think. That's how it happens, and it's not. We're going to get into that in a second, okay? Now, I hate to say this because this is a video. The little experiment I was going to do with you guys, I cannot do it. So the warm-up question, it was the experiment, basically saying what did you notice about yourself? What did you feel? Any difference and things like that. So because this is a video and the basically effect won't be the same, you guys cannot do that. So your warm-up is basically nothing. Okay, so just skip number one completely. So the objective, we're going to analyze the Pavlov experiment. We're going to analyze how algorithms are used in social media and search engines. Okay. All right, so Pavlov's experiment. Pavlov, basically what happened is he realized that if he connected a sound to a stimuli, which is in this case the food, that the dog would salivate. Okay, so before conditioning, he would basically have a food. The dog would get hungry, salivate. There you go. Then he used the bell. No food. The dog's like, okay, whoop whoop. You ring a bell. I could care less. But then what happened is during the conditioning, he rang a bell. Here's food. Ring a bell. Here's food. Ring a bell. Here's food. And they did that for a while. And then he rang the bell, didn't give the food, and the dog still salivated. Because associated that sound with the food. So once conditioning was set, then that's when it happened. That's when the dog connected the sound of the bell with the food, and he started salivating. This in psychology is known as classical conditioning. The textbook definition is it's a process that involves creating an association between a natural existing stimulus and a previously neutral one. Okay? In simpler terms, it basically means it's a type of learning that happens unconsciously. Okay? So this does happen quite a bit too in advertisement. Okay? There is something that people associate with certain things, and they make that connection, even though it's like chances are it's not really there, but we make that connection, whether it's sight, sound, smell, we make that connection, and we tend to react a certain way because of that, so maybe that might not be salivating, but it might be like, I need this or I need that. Okay. So here's your first question. Do you think classical conditioning will or would work on everything? And I mean everything, not just dogs, like training them, because that's the kind of stuff they do with dogs. Sit, and then you give them a treat. Once the dog sits, sit, treat, and then it gets to the point where it's like, sit, dog sits, without giving it a treat. So that's my question. Do you think classical conditioning could work on everything? And I mean everything, Animals, people, insects, whatever. Do you think it would work? Now, if there's like a sliver, a part of you that says, maybe 99% of things, but maybe there's a certain thing that I wouldn't work on. If that's the case, then you should say no. Because the question is asking about everything. And explain to me yes or no and why. So if you say yes, it would work on everything. Explain why. If you say no, maybe a lot of things, but not everything, explain to me why. Okay. So pause the video, write your response, because we're moving on in 3, 2, 1. All right, so now we've come to algorithms. Okay, now the definition of algorithms is this. It's a process or a set of rules to be followed in calculations or other problem-solving operations, especially by a computer. So like a program that gets all this information, all this data, it collects it and it basically sorts it out and says the probability of this happening is this. The chances of this happening is this. Majority of such and such thing is this compared to this. I mean, so a well-written program that could take an immense amount of data could really be useful in finding probability of things. Social media uses algorithms to basically go through several demographics to select the best ad it thinks its user might be interested in. Okay, now I've had some students tell me, well, I don't put my really any information on there. Okay, granted, but they still know some certain things about you. One, if you're male or female, or whatever you associate with, they know your age more or less. They know where you're from, more or less. It's so think of it like this. It's like a painting, They're making a painting of you, a portrait. If you give them very little information, they can only use certain amount of colors, blue, yellow, red, right? But the thing is, most apps and websites use information that you give. So the more you give, the more colors you're giving them so that they can make a more accurate painting and portrait of you. Now, what kind of information do they need to get an idea of who you are? Your likes, posts, recommendations, suggestions, purchases, searches, hashtag usages, what you follow, keywords you use. Again, not just keywords you search in, but keywords when you post things. They look at that kind of stuff. You put, oh, I love these jeans. Well, love jeans. And, you typically, most people take pictures of them. They can, they can tell what they are, hashtag usages. So they can tell if you're a follower or not. Are you the type of person to follow a trend or something that's going on? Hashtag cinnamon challenge, hashtag the ice bucket challenge, hashtag the crate challenge. If you put videos of that kind of stuff up, of you doing that kind of thing, they know, okay, this person follows the trend. They go with whatever's happening at that moment. So they know, they get this information from you. Now, how do they get this information? You give it to them. They don't have to listen to your conversation. They don't have to turn on their camera, things like that. No, you give it to them when you accept the terms and conditions on these apps and websites and things like that. You give it to them. You basically agree, yes, you can use that information. Why? Because it says in there, in the terms and agreements, what they can use and what they can use it for. Some of the information they gather, they can actually sell it to a third party if the terms and conditions says that that's what they want to use it for. Okay? Now, I had some students in class go, well, if you don't agree to it, then you can't use it. Exactly. And they know. A lot of you teenagers have you may not have a Facebook anymore because you're, as what I'm told, that's for old people now. But your Instagram, your Twitter, your Snapchat, things like that. They know you're going to accept it no matter what it says, because you need to post things and share with your friends, and your TikToks and all that stuff, your little dances and all that stuff, whatever that kind of crap is. They know you're gonna be on that. You're gonna be watching that, and you will accept whatever they put on there, because that's what everyone else is doing your age. So here's question number 2. Before today, did you have any idea about these algorithms? Did you even know about them, what they were, things like that? Okay. And second question is be honest. How did you think websites, social media apps, and other sites knew what you liked and what you didn't like? So before today, did you honestly think that, hey, they turn on your microphone, they turn on your camera, someone hacked in, they hacked into your web page and things like that, your social media site. How did you think they knew this stuff? So be honest, though, okay? Be honest. All right, so write your response. Pause the video, okay? Because we're moving on in 3, 2, 1. So, like I said, all those things, the hashtags and searches and recommendations, all that stuff, that's all fine and dandy. But what really ties everything in together is when you link your accounts. Your Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, Google, Pinterest, YouTube, TikTok, Tumblr, Reddit, whatever. When you connect those, you're making it easier for them to make a profile. And thing is, I hate to say this, guy, you guys are individuals, all right? Love you all to pieces, things like that, but you are individuals, but you're not individuals. And what I mean by that is this. Yes, you may be a 17-year-old female who likes drawing, who likes painting, who listens to certain alternative music and things like that. But there are like 8.6 billion people in the world. You think you're the only person who does that kind of things? No, there are thousands and thousands of people like you. And amongst those groups and those people who are in that situation, who do, go on social media and stuff like that, who post those things and talk about those things in different websites and stuff like that, those algorithms basically say this type of person, they tend to buy some of this stuff. They tend to shop at this particular place, and that's how they get a good profile on you. Again, it's not really individual you, because there are thousands of people like you, exactly. They may not look like you, but they have the same interests, the same type of stuff. So they have a good profile, and that's how they say, okay, they might like this type of shoes. According to their search, it's been this long since they've shopped at this place. They've been pretty consistent. Every 2 months, they go back to the store. Hey, time's coming up. Let's put the ad on there. And that's if that company pays for it. And sometimes they do. They know, hey, teenagers, females tend to go to our place. Let's aim towards them. Or young football players or athletes, they tend to go to these websites, wear these type of clothing, things like that. Let's put our ads towards them. And these algorithms basically say, there they are, boom. It puts on your Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, and all that stuff. Now, another thing too about these algorithms and these terms and conditions is most of them, most of the terms and the condition agreements, you release your rights to the information that you have. Also, what you share, videos you post, pictures that you post, that's now their property. Now, I had a student in class basically tell me, well, how's that? That's not fair. That's not right. They didn't take the pictures. Yeah, but you're using their platform to reach a worldwide audience. Ergo, in the terms agreement, without their help, you wouldn't have got that many views. You wouldn't have got that likes and things like that. So that picture belongs to them. Years ago, like I told in class, this lady takes a picture of her and her friends on a picnic. If I remember right, it's like a college bought that picture and put it on a brochure for their school, and the girl tried to sue, and they were like, well, no, you can't sue them because they bought the picture from Facebook. And then they're like, well, we're going to sue Facebook, and Facebook's like, go ahead, but you signed the terms of agreement, you clicked on it and agreed to it on this day at this time, and it says in the terms of agreement that the pictures are ours. We could sell to anybody we want to. This person tried to say, well, I didn't read it. I didn't understand it. I didn't read it. Guys, when you click on that stuff, it doesn't matter if you don't understand it, if you don't read it. Basically, when you click on it and say, okay, that you're saying, I did read it, I did understand it. So you can't use that as a defense. Okay? Also, like I said, if a company does use your image from a social media site, you don't get any money from it at all. Okay? You don't. Now, from all the terms and agreements I have read in my lifetime, they always say you have the right to delete the account. They tell you that. If you want to delete it, delete it. That's fine. But all the information, pictures, videos, and other materials that you've used on there, that is their property to use. Okay? Now, I've had some students in the past tell me, well, I'm just going to physically delete every single picture, every single post, every single thing. Congratulations, you just wasted 10 hours of your life doing that. Because the thing is, just because you delete it on your profile, it doesn't mean that it's deleted from the internet. Okay? All information from the internet is stored. All right? There are internet hubs around the world that has servers, huge servers in big, facilities, and basically they're just collecting internet from data. Collect data from the internet, and it's there forever. So 10 years from now, 15 years from now, you might have your little son or daughter Googling you, researching you, and be like, oh my God, Mom, Dad, why are you wearing this? Oh my God, you look hideous. What are you doing this stupid dance for? This little, what's that? What's cinnamon challenge? Why are you eating Tide Pods? Why are you eating detergent for? They're going to look you up. And you think like, well, I deleted that. Or I totally forgot about that. I thought that would be gone. No. That's why I tell you guys, be careful what you post. Because it's going to be there. And even too, some of your future bosses might be like looking you up, and they might see some pictures that you may not have posted, but someone posted of you and they tagged you in it. So be careful of that too, guys. All right, so question number 3. When you've used a new app or updated the terms and conditions, how many times have you read the whole thing? All right. There ain't no shame in saying, I've never read it. Okay. I can't tell you how many students have told me that. But now knowing what you know, and now having an understanding at the very least of how this stuff works, will you read the terms and conditions and tell me why or why not? Okay. So first, tell me how many times you actually read it. And 2, now knowing what you know, will you read them, the terms and conditions from now on? Yes or no, and why or why not. Okay, so think about it. Pause the video. Okay, because we're moving on in 3, 2, 1. All right. So a couple things that a lot of students ask me too about advertisements is, do commercials have to tell the truth? Okay, here's the thing. Technically, by law, they do. Okay, but most of these advertising people, they know how to work the system. They know how to use the wording to tell the truth, but not tell the truth. Okay, the governments they don't review the ads, before they run. But if you really notice on commercials, a lot of times there's small writing on there that say things, and that's the legal advertising disclaimer. So, like if you see this picture right here, Nutrisystem, Kelly lost 55 pounds, and you see a little thing, the little asterisk, results not typical. So yes, this girl, she probably did. Yeah, she lost 55 pounds. You take it, you might lose 10 pounds. You might lose 2 pounds. You might actually gain weight. Okay? But you can't go, well, this girl lost 55 pounds. I should be losing 55 pounds. Again, they cover their butt by using that little asterisk saying results not typical. And if you really, really pay attention, you'll see the little writing things saying stuff like, if using this product, you should eat right and exercise. Well, duh, that's how you lose weight anyway. You watch what you eat and you exercise. So what do I need the product for? But that's the thing. That's how they get you. Okay. If you've ever listened to the radio, you'll hear them talk about this and that. Win $1 million with McDonald's Monopoly Man thing and la 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 la. Right? They say all this stuff, and at the very end, they go. And you're like, what in the world was that? That was them reading the legal disclaimer and fast forwarding it. Okay? Because, again, that's the way they cover their butts. So if something happens, you're like, well, I'm going to sue them for this and that. Well, you can't. Well, why? Well, because they gave a legal disclaimer saying that your odds of you winning is like 1 in 10 billion. So there you go. Well, I couldn't hear it. Well, they played it. So that's how they cover their butts. Okay, so yes, they do have to tell the truth, but they do have the little white writing, the small writing, the asterisks, and things like that. Okay, now let's say you do find a commercial and something's wrong with it. They don't have the legal disclaimer that talks about that kind of thing, and there actually is a problem. You would go to the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission. These guys are the ones who protect consumers from being hurt by advertisements. They would review your case and say, yes, you have a claim because they did not mention that, or they gave false advertisement on this thing. Then you can sue them. Okay, but then again, a lot of companies, when that happens, they try to settle out of court, because if they go to court, then whatever it is that they messed up on becomes public record, and they don't want that. They want rather pay you money, shut you up, so that's it. Okay, and then they can fix the problem, whatever it may be. The next question I get a lot is, what's the difference between a commercial and an infomercial? Okay, commercials typically last 30 seconds, right? Infomercials typically last 30 minutes long. Sometimes they're an hour. And they demonstrate how this product works. And I'm sure you've seen the bad acting, like, this knife can't cut a tomato. Oh no! And they like squash the tomato and things like that. But this knife, look at it, just like, it's like cut it through like butter. It's so easy. So they're trying to show how this product works and how better it is than other products on the market. Okay. That's the difference between the commercial and infomercial. It's basically a demonstration. All right, so here's your exit ticket. The first question asks you, how would you explain algorithms to a 10-year-old? So break it down, explain how it works and stuff like that. And the second question says, if you could, who would you do a Pavlov experiment on, and how would you do it? So if you forgot how that experiment works, go back to the very beginning, go through that, and think to yourself, how can I do that to somebody? Typically, I'm going to give you a little hint here. Typically, this really does work with, like, especially little kids. Okay? Especially with little kids. It can work. Okay? So how would you do this experiment if you were going to do it to somebody? Okay? Once you've written down your responses, that's it for this lesson. Guys, hopefully you learned something new. Hopefully you enjoyed this lesson. All right. I will see you guys later. You take care. You be safe, okay?